And welcome to our humble little office. This is Ronald Keith Andrews, owner of Inner Voice Enterprises. Now, what we are going to lay out for you today is one of many videos that I am going to be utilizing to detail the problem that you are facing at this point, whether you know it or not. What I'm about to tell you may upset you, may offend you, or hopefully will inspire you to get up and do something. Now, if you take a look at the videos and the issues that I lay out, do understand I don't have a book to sell. I am not charging for this. I am simply putting information out there, and I am encouraging you to do your research and listen to what is being said. Understand, I don't have the paperwork. I haven't been around the world to talk to a whole pile of people. I don't work for the government, and I don't work for some major corporation. This is just what I have seen, and it is based on literally centuries of watching this planet grow. Now, for those of you that don't believe in past life memories, bear with it, take it for what it is, and simply look at the present state and forget where I get the information from. Take a look at your own history books and read up on it. But understand, I'm not here to make you happy about it. I'm here to bring it to your attention, and if it upsets you that I say something that you take offense to, well, I'd apologize, but if you're taking offense to it, then my guess is it applies to you. My hope, and I don't use that term very well because I gave up on it a long time ago, but it is my desire that this will inspire you to start doing something about it. Now, how about if we start with the spiritual side of it? We have churches, and I'm going to use the term churches across the board to include everything from your standard church, like your Christian church, like your Protestant churches of every denomination, like the Church of Satan, like your Sikh temples and your Buddhist temples and your Wiccan groves and whatever else type of religion, whatever spiritual spin you desire to put on it. If you want to call a church a plot of land that you sit and talk in, if you want to talk about a school or a spiritual school that is designed to teach the spiritual side of life and show people that we don't talk about God, so we're okay. I don't care what you call it. If you're claiming to lead people in a spiritual path, get it straight. Talking about one religion being wrong and therefore should be wiped out. I don't care where you read it. If you're teaching spiritual values and you're promoting war, murder, death, desecration of another person's spiritual focal point, you're sending the wrong message. You're inciting a war. Religious and spiritual leaders, and bear in mind, if you're an individual and you don't sit in front of a pulpit, or you don't stand in front of a group of people, but you talk to people about how they should treat others, you're still a spiritual leader. If you're promoting bullying, if you're promoting degradation or second-class citizenship, or if you're talking about treating people that are less fortunate than you as being less than your value, then frankly, you're not a spiritual leader to be followed. If that is your doctrine, if you're standing in front of your parishioners, your flock, your coven, I don't care. If you're standing there and telling them that you're better than everybody else, and therefore the other people should be downtrodden, should be looked down upon, should not have the same rights as you, if that is what you are doing, step down. Because what's going to happen if you don't is your parishioners are going to get the message that you're treating them and teaching them very poorly, and they will rise up against you. They will turn around and tear the foundation of your so-called church apart. Now, this is already happening. In recent months, there have already been major churches that have fractured into smaller groups because the leaders and the spiritual guides couldn't get along. Now, I don't care, in one sense, whether you like what I'm telling you or not. Because I'm perfectly aware that many people are going to look at me and go, you're talking blasphemy. You're talking against the church. You're sinning. Well, possibly. But ask yourself this. If you're promoting God's work, whether it is by whatever name, if you are promoting God's work, and you are telling people to kill each other, God said himself on multiple occasions, judge thee not, lest thou be judged. I don't care what religion you look at. It doesn't matter what set of books. There is another book that tells you, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. If you're promoting you shoot somebody, how would you like to get shot? That's what you're asking other people to do to you if you don't agree with them. If you're promoting the idea of harming Mother Nature to get ahead, rest assured Mother Nature's been through worse than you have. And she will retaliate. Kobe, Japan was touted as being earthquake-proof. It took Mother Nature 45 seconds to level it. Heck of an earthquake-proof. The religious leaders out there, your spiritual guides, spiritual teachers that are out there, the people that have started these new colleges and these new churches, they call them spiritual churches. If you're telling your parishioners and your followers that if somebody doesn't follow your teachings, that means they're less than you, then you missed the boat. Step down. There is no room for prejudice in the spiritual world. There is no room for leaders to still continue standing up and saying, because we believe something different than you, God says we're allowed to kill. No, God didn't. No matter what religion, none of them tell you that killing is acceptable. As a matter of fact, it's written right into the commandments that you're not supposed to. The fact of the matter is, though, that is thou shalt not murder. In other words, you don't kill for any reason except food, survival, and self-defense. That's it. If a person is not armed, they do not need to be shot. If they are not attacking you and they are simply talking about things you don't agree with, you don't beat them. And yet I watch the churches consistently, and the spiritual guides and the so-called spiritual leaders that are coming out on YouTube and saying, or coming out on the news or out in books and going, I am the way, I am he who hath come again. If you have to announce it, you're not him. Your actions will tell you who to follow or who should be followed. Your observations, do your own research. The person that you're listening to that is telling you this is what has to be done to survive, Ask yourself this. Are they doing their best from a spiritual standpoint to do that? Now, there are churches that will tell you consistently they are the chosen church. You know what? They're lying. Oh, and by the way, one of the 10 Commandments is, thou shalt not bear false witness. In other words, don't lie. God never picked a church. Mother Nature never picked a church. Satan didn't even pick his church, and neither did Buddha. Okay, these are man-chosen constructs. They were designed originally to help people understand the inexplicable. They were designed, they were built to bring people of like mind under one roof so that they could find comfort in the brotherhood and the sisterhood, not so they could make plans to go to war. And those of you that have still got this brilliant idea that war is profitable, number one, no, it's not. Okay, not for the general population anymore, and certainly not from a spiritual standpoint. When you are going to look at going to a church, do they make you feel welcome? Do they make you feel comfortable? How's this one for a real brilliant idea for you that are going to the church and running the churches? You're there to help your community and to guide your community. Is your parish, is your group of followers, is your group of parishioners or your acolytes, are you guys actually taking care of the poor in your area? Are you taking some of that money that you're collecting and getting tax breaks for and putting in your pocket or putting into building a gaudy, gold-covered building and using it to feed the poor or to get clothing to the underprivileged or to heal the sick? What about the people that come to you and go, I've worked all my life and I've got a medical bill, but I can't afford to pay it? Have you bothered checking in your coffers to see if you can help deal with it? Or is it just like in the old days when the evangelical criers would stand up and go, if I don't have $8 million in my pocket by Friday, God is going to take me home? God, Mother Earth, Satan, Buddha, none of them care what you've got in your pocket. Shiva doesn't care how much your bank account holds. But they all care how you're treating your fellow man, your fellow animal, your fellow plant, your fellow off-worlder, all of creation. It is all sacred. And if you people don't start treating the world and the people and the beings around you like that, here's what happens. All of these people, yourselves included, are going to pay the price. A massive uprising is coming. It's already started. I am not a doomsayer. I am not telling you this is the end of the world if you do something about it. But if you don't, the riots will hit, your governments will fall, and you will find that the fact that you have a Maserati that you're driving and a $1 million home that you live in and an extra yacht that is parked at the bay that you don't see but once every 3 or 4 years, it won't matter. They'll all be gone. Because the cancer that is spreading across the globe right now at the hands of the churches, the spiritual leaders, the politicians, the teachers, the parents, that cancer is going to wipe this society out. So, if you desire to live, it's time to change. We will talk again. For the time being, this is Keith Andrews, owner of Inner Voice Enterprises. Until we talk again, take care of yourselves and each other.